everyone, and welcome back to another video. First off, I just want to thank you all for 1K subscribers on the channel. I know it's pretty small compared to all the other big YouTubers out there, but it's extremely mind-blowing to me that so many of you would like to see the content that I put out. I started this channel mainly as a way to share my process and build a community of people who like art or are artists themselves. So to have so many interested in my work and videos is just crazy to me. I don't want to ramble on too much about it though, so I'll say thank you again, and I hope you enjoy the video. I was a bit worried I wouldn't finish this piece in time for today, but somehow I made it. I keep my schedule consistent, but as I've progressed with this series, it has gotten a little more difficult to bring the paintings to a finish I'm happy with, within the deadline I've given myself. Ideally, I would have given myself more time to work on each painting little by little while I work on other videos in the meantime. If I had started this project a couple months earlier, I could have done so. I was nervous to start something this involved, and it's all tied so closely to me in a personal sense that I kept pushing it off and avoiding it. So now here we are, and I have a few more weeks left to complete this collection, and that is where I came up with the deadline of a painting a week. Saturday is where I take the general concept I have and plan out roughly what I want the painting to look like. I'll do research and find any reference if needed, besides the ones I've taken myself, and I'll do smaller paintings and studies of any object or image I am uncertain of. That carries into Sunday, where I am continuing the planning, tweaking the composition, doing sketches and color studies for the final piece, and sketching loosely the pose on the panel I'll be using for the finished painting. Monday begins the painting process for the final work. Usually I'll start in the morning and work roughly till evening. The reason being I use a combination of natural light and studio lights, so to avoid too much inconsistency in the video, I paint when it is still light outside. I'll do this continuing on from Monday till Friday, where I have to have the piece finished. Saturday morning is when I'll take photos of the finished painting because there is better lighting compared to the later in the afternoon. That's why I was a bit worried if I would get this video out in time, because by the end of the day Friday, I still wanted to make some pretty big adjustments to the painting, and I had to do it on Saturday. I spent most of the day finishing it up, and luckily I was able to take some pictures before the sun went down completely. I would say there are positives and negatives to this schedule, and I'd like to talk about them for this video. The positive aspect is it establishes a routine. Because I have this deadline, I am consistently waking up each day, working for X amount of hours, and I repeat that every day. When you get in the habit of painting every day for a few hours, it helps you not only establish the habit, but increase and improve your skill much quicker than it would, let's say if you only painted for a day or two each week. I feel like this concept has been heard over and over again, but consistent practice is what will improve your skill in anything you are trying to do. Even if you space those hours out during the day, or just limit yourself to 1 hour a day, because that's all you have time for, it is still better than not doing it at all. Managing your time and taking the time to draw or paint a little each day is the fastest and best way to see real improvement in your work. And that's what I like about this project. It forces me to paint every day because otherwise I wouldn't be able to finish. I've been doing this consistently for roughly a month now, and I am taking what I learned from each painting and applying it to the next. I'm seeing improvement in my technique, but also in my confidence. I'm using less, but more thoughtfully placed strokes. I'm building off all the experience I gained from the last 3 paintings and applying it to this one. I don't even see it as work or something that I am forcing myself to do. The thing with art is you can't do it for the end result. You have to enjoy the process of creating, or you will never be satisfied. Expecting each painting to turn out amazing and holding out hope till the very end will be detrimental to your confidence as an artist, and bring a negative light to the way you view art. The reality is, not every piece you make is going to turn out like a masterpiece. You're going to make mistakes, and you're going to have bad days, and that's inevitable. It's part of the process. Mistakes are what guide you and push you to making better work. You can never improve without failure. I don't end each week thinking, oh yes, I've made another inspiring, beautiful, technically flawless work of art. No. I'm not 100% happy with all the paintings and how they've turned out so far. But it doesn't matter, because what matters is that I'm taking the time and painting a feeling, an emotion, and enjoying the actual process of painting. You have to enjoy painting, otherwise what's the point, you know? If all you care about is getting a beautiful work of art in the end, then you might as well look at all the other talented and renowned artists in the world. I'm not saying you have to enjoy every second of every minute you are creating. No, of course you'll have times where you're frustrated and confused and you want to quit. But those moments are also key, because that's where you are really learning. You are encountering a problem and working out a way to solve it, and sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't. Either way, you have more experience and more knowledge for the next time you encounter a similar problem. Over time, things will be smoother and come more naturally to you, but you will always still be learning. The process was really the point for me in this collection. I had so many thoughts and feelings I just needed to express, and I felt if I had given myself all the time in the world to complete it, I never would. And more so, I would lose the original intention and feeling behind each piece. But that brings me to the negative aspect of working on a schedule like this. You shouldn't expect yourself to make a highly detailed and refined work of art each week, every week. A week is not enough time, at least for me, to make the most technically skilled and rendered painting. If the idea is especially complex, I need a lot more time to research and study and work out all the problems before I even touch the final canvas. There is so much planning that goes into a piece that cannot all be achieved in 2 days. I'm forced to cut back and to simplify, not to include as many elements or render everything to my preference because of the time limit. Now that's not necessarily a bad thing, especially if it's not your purpose for creating the piece. For me, again, it was to express feelings and thoughts that have been clouding my mind recently, and the point was to capture that and move on. It could be messy, it could be imperfect, and that's okay. What's not okay is expecting you to create such a successful piece of art in such a short amount of time. It's so important to give yourself the time you need and think you will need to achieve a certain level of finish and quality that you are happy with. And that's different for every artist. Depending on the material and the artist themselves, it could be a month, it could be a few months, or a year, or it could be only a few hours. The important thing is to give yourself enough time to make something you can feel proud of. Now, of course, it gets tricky with deadlines. Oftentimes, especially if you're working professionally, you have certain dates to fulfill and you can't necessarily take all the time you want. But managing and finding a balance between those two is extremely important. Those were just the main positives and negatives I had on the subject, but there are some smaller things as well. Depending on how and where you work, you could end up sitting at your desk all day. For me, I'm standing the majority of the time because I'm working at an easel, but if you are at your desk, try to take breaks and stretch as much as you can. I know it can be easy to forget about the time, especially if you're really in the swing of things, but your body needs to be active and it needs to stretch, so don't forget about that while working. This is more specific to the project I'm working on, but another small negative I see is that because I'm working every day on this collection, I don't have much time to do anything else or plan and work on any other paintings. If I were to make another series, I would definitely space it out more in between other videos, just so I don't get tired of working on it and you get a little more variety for each week. Not to say I'm not enjoying this series, it's actually been nice to create more thoughtful and creative pieces. It definitely has reinvigorated my love for painting. I guess to say a few words about the painting you see here. I had to cut out a lot, otherwise this video would be way too long, and it's already quite lengthy to begin with. So I showed me painting a few of the roses and eyes so that you're not bored of watching me paint rows after rows. But also the process is generally the same each time, so I didn't think I needed to show the entire process. I'm pretty happy with the lighting of this one, though I definitely think I could have pushed it further to make it a little more fluid. But again, I didn't have much time to correct it, and it's something I am learning to apply for the next one. Painting the same corset and necklace is a bit repetitive, isn't it? Trust me, if you're tired of seeing it, I'm tired of painting it. I'm getting a lot of practice, and I do think I'm getting slightly better at painting it with each piece. I think for the next time though, I would definitely vary the types of clothing and accessories and such to make it a little more interesting. That's all I have for today though. Thank you so much for subscribing and showing up to watch these videos. I never really expected to get this far, especially in this time frame, so thank you again. I sincerely appreciate every one of you and love talking with you in the comments. I hope you liked today's painting, and I'll see you next time.